Hi guys, welcome to another Computing Corner video. And in this video, we're going to be looking at setting up Windows NT 3.1. Now, what we're going to do first off, because this procedure is going to be a bit longer than the regular 3.1. I'll tell you one thing, for example. The regular 3.1 even only has 6 floppy disks. This one, on the other hand, has got 23. So I'm going to be doing quite a bit of it off screen. So I've got to disk 5 on here. I knew you were going to do that. Right, let's try again. But I'll go for the bus logic. And then we'll press enter again. So this doesn't have CD-ROM support. It's only standard PC, so yeah, that's absolutely fine, because you can't install DOS on here. So we'll just leave that as it is then. And then we'll format this one. Leaving the D drive as it is. We'll keep it to FAT. And it's just going to format the partition. It shouldn't take too long because it's only 2 gigabytes. There is one thing I forgot to do though, which I will do off screen. And that is to update the RAM, because I wanted to set this to 128. I was going to set this to 128 megabytes, but I think that might be too much for Windows 3.1. So what I'll do then in that case is I'll just leave it as it is and just do it on 3.5. Do Windows, do that 128 megabytes on 3.5. And those will have to be done separately because 3.51 has the CD-ROM support that 3.5 doesn't. And also we were going to try and install some service packs, because Windows NT 3.1 has got 3 of them. Don't know why this is taking so long. This is only a 2 gigabyte hard drive. But it's taking a bit of time, and yeah. It's nearly done though. But it shows a different stage of it. Okay, that's fine. And already we need disk 2. Let's just deal with that one. 3. So again, I'll go up to disk 5, and then I'll do the next part. I'll do the rest of this stage off screen. There we go. So join me back in a bit, and I will take you through the next part of the setup. Join me back in a bit after this. And I'm back, and we have now done the first part of the setup. I've just disconnected the floppy for now because it needed to be, and now we're just going to do Control-Alt-Delete. And this is what you should get. Right, join me back in a bit after this. And I'm back, and well, I don't know what happened there, apart from I had to change the processor back to 3.1 because I think the NT one that I had beforehand was meant for NT4, which is why it's done that. But it's also allowed me to update the amount of RAM to the 128 megabytes that I originally intended for it. And believe it or not, it actually still works, which I'm happy to report. So I'll just click on continue because I've done that, and then I'm just going to call it NT31 test. Continue, and then continue again. Language British, of course. So this will install the language. The language determines how date, currency, and time values are displayed and controls other international settings. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. But it is now anyway. Now this does introduce the NTFS file system, which you saw earlier on in this video, but unfortunately it doesn't fully work. We've also got a new game which I'm going to play, which is Free Cell. And there's some other bits as well, which we will look at when we get to it. Let's click continue. I'm going to click cancel because we don't have a printer. And then we'll click continue. Okay, that's not a problem. Okay. Then we just want to set up the password. Now we've got the virtual memory settings. I want that to go to C drive. Click continue. Right, join me back in a bit because I've gone horribly wrong here. I've gone horribly wrong. So join me back in a bit and I'll restart the whole lot. And I'm back. And this time I'm just going to change a few bits in the setup. So I'm back up to where I was. Which is it is, and now just click continue. This is where I should have ended up, and where I would have ended up if I didn't go horribly wrong. So now I need this gate. I'm going to go up to this 10, and then do a big portion of this off screen. This 9 straight away. And there we go. So join me back in a bit again, and I will take you through the last bit of setup. And I'm back, and we are looking at carrying on the setup stages. This setup stage from discs 20 to 22, and then I'll explain what the last disc is about. So we need disc 21. That was 21. This one's going to be 22. And then we'll click OK. That's going to configure the network. And you can see it's all set up. And now you've got Schedule Plus as well, which I'll explain more about when we get there. Okay, so we don't need a password. I obviously need to sign in for myself. Again, we'll do C drive for the page file. And then we'll search, because we still have a DOS program, QBasic. And that is absolutely fine. We'll, of course, adjust for daylight saving time. And can we actually... No! I've got an emergency disk, but when I went to close it off, it went straight to formatting it anyway, and now I've just lost disk 22 of Windows NT 3.1. That's another task for me to do after the video. But join me back in a bit, because I'm going to install some stuff off screen, because you've seen it all before. And then I'll personalise it off screen as well, because you've seen that as well. But join me back in a bit after this, and we'll have some fun. And I'm back, and we've got all the software sorted out, and now we're just going to be able to just go over all the new stuff that we've got on the go. So the first thing I wanted to look at is, let's go into Paint. I've got a document that I needed to, because it says there, this image was saved in an old format. Do you want to convert it to the standard bitmap format? Bitmap format, yes I do. Now that's interesting. That's just come up as black and white. For that one, as it would do. So I'll just then, in that case, go into Paint and start up a new one. Which is in that same folder as Paintbrush. There we go. And then I'll just write in some bits, some random bits. And you can do cut and paste. You can use Control Z for undo. It's going well so far. It's just trying to get used to writing in Windows NT 3.1. Just so you know also, when it comes to NT 3.5, I'll have to do them separately on the count of 3.51 has CD-ROM support, where I don't think the original 3.5 does. I don't think it does. So you get to see them separately. So we'll just sort that out. And then we'll just a second. My mouse escaped out of the virtual machine. Yeah, that will work. And then I'll just put down on the bottom what year each one came out. Which then for this one, that would be 1993. Oh dear. So I've got rid of the whole lot. Never mind. And then I'll save that into the D drive, DMC Studios. You can actually save it as a 256-bit color bitmap. So then we'll go WinNT3X. And now it's not showing all caps. It's naming itself how you intended for it. But join me back in a bit because I'm just going to sort out some other bits that needs to be taken care of, and I will not be that long. And I'm back, and there's something I just wanted to show you actually, just while I think about it. I have got a brand new phone. I've got the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So I just thought this would be an idea just to take up the opportunity to do a switch up. And given the nature of what I do, it's critical that I keep as up to date as I possibly can. Not only that, but I also need to make sure that my battery is in a good enough condition as well. Because I do loads of videos while I'm out and about. I'll end up doing a DMC experiment with the selfie stick on that to see what happens. But this phone also has a camera action button on the side. And I've got to be careful because I need to get a case and a screen protector. And then with that in mind, with that being said, I can now get back to this video. Let's start by doing that. Just going to write. But I do have a file that I need to update. Can't do the database side of things, not yet anyway, because there's no access and I couldn't get works to run. So that I can't show you, but what I can do in the meantime is update the Word doc, the one I did in Word in Write, which then became WordPad. And then I'll save that. Can't save it, not with that. You just have to save it like that. I think this would be a good point to then do a replacement of that in Word. So I shall convert everything over into Word. I keep wanting to do that instead of closing the actual window that I'm on. So bear me one moment, guys. I'm just waiting for my best friend to text me back. I think I need to bring my iPad in here. Join me back in a bit after this. And I'm back. I've just brought my iPad into the office. So what we're going to do then at this point is, now that I've got everything done that I need to, is I'm just going to carry on setting this up, doing the document. So where did I get to? That's right. I'm going to go, not do that. I'm going to go into Office and open up Word. And then I'm going to set up a new Word document for this. I think in this case I should do Britannic bold at font at size 24, and then go like that. And then I'll put down here at 14 avant-garde. I don't even think that is. I think that is that's Arial, not avant-garde, the one that I was after. That now takes care of that. I'll just switch that to Arial. And then on the side, we'll then do a heading. And then we'll put that as Britannic bold. And then we'll put that, we've gone back to Times New Roman. Now we can do bullet lists. Although I think I might want to change that to Arial, just for the sake of things. I might make that bold as well. It's more like it. And then that one. That one. And then the latest one, which is the one we're currently on at the moment. So that. So then I'll save that, because now you can save it by using Control-C, Control-S even, and then I'll put it into D, the DMC Studios, and then we'll call it again wins so far. That's showing up as all caps, which is rather interesting because you didn't do that in Paint. But now that that's done, let's just bring my chair back up. We can look at setting up Excel and PowerPoint later on down the line. Next thing I wanted to look at is some other accessories which were around, only just recently been introduced here. The calculator is exactly the same, so I'll just close that off. This is what the clock looks like, because I've gone for digital, where it's automatically digital. But the one thing I did want to look at, a couple of things I wanted to look at, there is a new game on here called Free Cell. Let's see how I do here. This is running really rather slow, and I've got, that mover's not allowed, of course it's not, because it's gone black to black. It's meant to be alternating in colour. So as I was saying, it's going rather slow, which is rather weird because this has got 128 megabytes of RAM. That's how much RAM I've set it up with. So why it's being slow, I don't know. That 2's gone. And then you want what else do you want? I've just put it over there. That determines how many moves you can, how many cards you can move in one move. So I can move the whole column because I can do up to 4, which is what you saw there. It's really slow. But then the more cards you fill up, the more cards you fill up there in those spaces on your top left-hand corner, the less cards you can move in one go. So now I can only move 3 cards. Whereas if they're all blank, it would be 5. And then other things you can do to contribute towards how many cards you can move at once. I think yeah, so there. That move requires moving 4 cards. You only have enough free space to move 3. So the one thing I wanted to look at, bear with me a moment. One thing I needed to look at is trying to move that king and queen across. And this is where the fun begins, because now I can only move 1 card. Which is a shame because you can then do the 2. So once I get rid of that 7, once I move that 7 somewhere, it would mean I could free up those 2 there. But now it will just say you only have enough free space to move 1. Let me restart. I'm not particularly too good at this one either. Put 5 over there and the 4, and then the ace will go up. I've got a 3. 5 can go over there. And we want So you can still do 4 here. And then I think I'm going to have to do this. And then we don't have any red jacks because they're both up near the top on this pile, which doesn't really help. Not at this stage, because now I can only move 2 cards. And that flashing thing, that flashing title bar means you're down to your last legal move. So this is where you've got to tread careful. Where is that legal move? Is the next thing I wanted to look at. Where is that legal move? Can't even undo it either. There's the legal move, and that's going back and forth like ping pong. You can go up to 32,000. I'm going to go game 1. This wasn't a very clever idea. I'm going to make this the last round because there are some other things I want to show you, and I've put a time limit on as to how long I can make these videos. That is a valid move. So is that. And it would have still been legal if we had a 5 there because it's 4 cards. Now I can do the 3 there and then the 2, because that then gives me 2 aces and the 2. And then with that, this is going to be fun. I haven't quite thought this one through. But when do I ever? Is the burning question on anyone's mind. I need to find, there's the 2 of spades, which I can just see. The 2 of clubs is already up there. That move is not allowed. Rubbish. That move's not allowed either. No, of course it's not. So we'll do then black 3, red 2. And then with that, bear me a moment. There we go. So we've got the 3 and the 2. We could put the 4 and the 3 down there. Still can't undo anything at the moment. I just need to work something out, but where to go, I don't know. I think I'm going to have to resign because if I'm umming and erring over what's going on, I'm just going to waste a whole heap of time. We'll do some more solitaire, this is Minesweeper, but we'll see if we've got enough time to solitaire. Because I wanted to take... I wanted to take... you want a tour around Schedule Plus? You shit! Right, well, they're the three, because they've got three surrounded by there. Yeah, that was right. I was close to a quick victory as well. There's a four. Wow. I had a 4 there. Well, the 3 could be anywhere. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And I think... No! Right, I'll do one more and then I'll move on. That always happens when I always mark a game as the last one. I won't worry too much about solitaire for now, because there is something I wanted to show you. But join me back in a bit, because I need to take care of business, and I will take you around the admin tools. Join me back in a bit after this. And I'm back, and things are getting a bit dark outside because I've left it for so long. So I'm just going to carry on looking at different things. So we've got some admin tools as well, which then gives you your user manager, which I'm going to come out of. Disk administrator has determined that this is the first time disk admin has been run, or that all one disks have been added to a computer. Yeah, will now be updated. Okay, so what I wanted to do, this is, I find, rather interesting. You can actually, according to this, go up to, that is 1 terabyte. You can go up to about 1 terabyte on here. That's what it's showing on there. Can you rename it though? Apparently not. But there's your partitions. You can't even extend it either. I'm not going to delete that because I've got stuff on there. And there's a performance monitor as well. Which isn't showing up as much. But you can do the tests on there as well. Which, look at this. That is rather incredible, rather interesting as well. Giving you a chart as to how everything's performing. You've also got a backup facility as well, but you need to have a tape device, which I don't have. I do want to rename that. I do want to rename the C drive to DMC Windows. And you've got the event viewer as well, which looks at all of this. And then I look at all the events that have taken place on the computer. We'll close that off. And then if we go into main, there's a program I wanted to show you which was called Schedule Plus. Until you run Mail once, you will not be able to use any workgroup features of Schedule Plus. Yeah, I will. Okay, so we'll just put do this then. The system date must be within the range of 1920 to 2019. Setup cannot continue running. Of course not, because we're in 2025 and this only runs up to 2019. I'm not going to bother setting that up. And that closes off if you don't sign in. Yeah, because it's showing a date of 2025. So, yeah, that puts a spanner in the works. Never mind. There's the Windows setup, where you can add or remove components as such. You've got SCSI adapters there as well. Let's click exit out of that and then control panel, because there are other things that I can show you on here. So there's Windows NT version 3.1. That's the only one you can find. And then you've got your virtual memory there, which you can change as well. You've got your uninterruptible power supply. And then you've got your personalization settings as well. We've gone to the UK. We did that automatically. I'm actually going to change this to 2019. So I can then go into Schedule Plus. I'll put it back to 2025 afterwards. And this is what it looks like. Now, unfortunately, as I say, because this only goes up to 2019, you can't really do much with that apart from doing what you need to do. This is what happens when you use a system so old that it only goes up to 2019, which doesn't bode well for us, seeing as we're in 2025. So this is what we've got. This later became a part of Outlook, and then it was renamed Outlook. So I'm going to exit and sign out, because what I do need to do is reset the time and date back to 2025. There we go. Yeah, so I've set it back up to 2025. I will double check that just to make sure that it's done that. Yeah, 2025. You can even change the font on that as well. Let's see if I've got a good font. Let's go for Century Gothic. There's Century Schoolbook, and there's Gothic. There's Brush Script, Britannia Bold, Braggadocio, Bookman Old Star, Book Antigua, Arial Narrow, Monotype Kosovo. I remember my dad used to use that font. MS Dialogue Light, MS Sans Serif. Let's change that font from that. change the font. So we've got wide Latin. I'm going to go for impact. I mean, look at that. That 17 looks rather distant from everything else. Let's close it off. I actually wonder what that would look like when you minimize it down. Yeah, so it still shows its impact. That's interesting. And then Notepad, I did do the startup of a web page, an HTML web page, but you still can't run it. And then we've got your plus minus. Which we've got there as well. I'm going to put in an extra row if I can. Otherwise, if failing that, I'd just do this. So we've got 1 plus 2, 3. Because you do Bibmus. Yeah, because you do Bibmus, which is perfect. So that's why it never came up. So if we go 5 plus 7, it still stays as 5 because you've got to do something for Bibmus, which is why it then jumped up from that to 33. Because 7 times 4 is 28, and then you do the 5 for 33, and then you take away 3 for that. And then we will update it. Plus minus, I think I might rename that actually to Bibmus. Of course, it won't let me. And then I'll add in another, if I can, insert. And then you go starting number. Add this. Multiplied by this. And subtract this. And then with that in mind, you then just bolt this and bolt this. And there you go. So let's just go through that, and then you've got, then let's do 4 and then add 5. because it stays at 4 because, of course, you're multiplying by it next, which then becomes 54 because 5 times 10 is 50, and then you've got the 4 as your starting number. And then I'm going to take off 7 for that. And there you go. Save that. Yeah. And then we'll come out of that. The next thing I want to do while I've got time is I want to be able to, I don't know why I came out of that, I want to be able to update my gen form. So let's have a look. This is the Mac we were looking at, the Mac file. And then we'll minimize that for now. And then if it will let me, open it up, which at the moment it doesn't look like it is. So we want then try and do this. And I want to so it's showing up, but I can't open it up. Which isn't good. Because I want to be able to add bits to it. There we go. Now we're cooking on gas. Close it off. And then I'm going to change this to just a simple add 1. Because I'll do 1, 5 and 10. And then we've got the caption, which we want the name, which I've just seen. I'm now just going to call it +1 button. And then with that, I'm going to do that on there. And then add another button. So we do then +10. And then we'll call that +10 button. And this behaves in exactly the same way as it did before, but it got rid of the coding as you'd expect. Put you down there. Number text dot text equals number text dot text add 1. Which takes care of that. So we'll close it off. And then we'll do the same here. Number text dot text equals number, not mumber, number text dot text plus 10. And again, we'll close it off. And then that should stay the same. So then when I go to debug it, one thing I will do is I'll just change that into something else. So I'll change the caption to the form. Put that back down to normal. And I want to rename that. I want to put if I can, oh, sorry about that. But I do want to change that to false. And I want to change that to false as well. And then with that in mind, I'm just trying to find the caption that's near the top. It's what it was renamed to title. And then we'll just debug it. That works, and that works. And then we come out of that, make it an exe. Then we'll come out of that. Yeah. Go into File Manager. And now it's all up to date. And now we don't have the minimize or maximize buttons, which is what I was after in the beginning. Then we'll go close from that. And there we go. It's interesting how coding's come about and how much it's particularly evolved. I love it. I love doing this sort of stuff, and this sort of thing really does keep me coming back for more. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.